So, in the last episode, we discussed what Agile Portfolio Management was. And now we want to switch gears and discuss why we need it. In order to discuss this portion, I have some bullets I want to talk about a little bit. So, this first one, each company has an unlimited set of opportunities that they can invest in. The problem is, we have a limited set of resources and a limited number of people with the expertise to make these investments successful. And so we need some method in order to figure out what are the things that we are not going to do and what are the things that we should focus on. What are your thoughts, Rhonda?
Yeah, this is very timely, Brian, especially with the economy that's going on right now and the situation with COVID-19. I'm hearing that companies are looking at their resource pool, looking where they need to cut back. The set of resources that they're going to have available are even going to be more and more constrained. And so it is super important that companies are assessing where they're investing and making the right decisions. There's not as many resources going to be available, and so they need to invest them in the place that's going to give them the most value.
So you definitely want to have a leadership team that is getting together. They're looking at the investments that the company has, the opportunities, and they're actually deciding here's what we're going to continue doing and here's what we shouldn't do. But along with that, if you look at the second bullet, they're going to make those decisions, but they also need to create a set of guiding principles that when they communicate that, the rest of the organization can understand it and they can adopt those principles and it helps with their decision making, not only to figure out what work to do, but also in how to do it. What are your
Right.
thoughts?
Right. So the decision making, the pattern of decision making you're talking about is all through the organization. It's all the way from the top. It's at the portfolio level, making the right decisions there. But this trickles all the way down to the team and helps them with their decision making, so that the whole organization has clear guidance, has clear decision making capabilities.
Yeah, we need those guide rails in order to really focus the teams. And again, in the last video, we talked about Parkinson's law and how work expands to the time that you have for that time box. And if you don't have these principles, then people will actually create work. We call it dark work. This work does not align to the strategy. Not only
Right.
that, it happens at a higher level, doesn't it?
Right. And so, getting back to the times that we're in, we need to be making sure we're putting resources on the areas that are giving the most value. So if you look at traditional portfolio management and you look at portfolios or value streams, typically what's been done is that value stream is been given a budget for the year and they go and execute. But what we're saying here is there needs to be an assessment that over time, if one portfolio has bigger value than another portfolio, then we need a mechanism and a process defined to switch resources from one to the other at any point, instead of having a portfolio with a set of resources defined for a year.
Wow, this is a huge change because I've been to company after company, and what I've seen is that companies actually executive has a portfolio, they're doing work, and rather than give the resources up if they don't need it, they've adopted the mentality that next year's budget is going to be based on this year's budget. So even if they don't need to utilize the entire budget to do things, they'll stick in these extra features that maybe are not bringing as much value and are not as important so that they keep their budget numbers up so they get the same amount of resources next year. That's evil.
Right. And that means you're not investing your resources in the highest value to execute your strategy, because you built silos and people hold on to their budget and even spend it in areas that don't make sense. You have to have a method for switching those resources, even at the highest level.
Wow. Well, I've learned something important here, and I hope you have too. Those are our viewers out there. So we're going to end the video here, and we'll pick this up again next time. Thanks a bunch.